Hey, Steve here, and I wanted to show you the jobs report and the non-farm payroll report system. This system is something I found a couple of months ago now and have had some success with it. It is not my system. It's a system I found online from a guy named Corey Mitchell. It's an actually article on Investopedia. I've never contacted him. I don't know anything about it. I haven't done any back testing on it per se. I'm putting it in my tier 3 based on the success that I've had with it. I more than likely would never bump it up to a tier 2. May go down to a tier 4, or maybe just totally discontinue it. But I'm going to show you the different ways that I trade it. I think can be profitable, have been for me so far, and we'll see what happens going forward. But this is it. So let's take a look at it here a second. Anyways, it's an article. There'll be a link to the article here in this video. But it deals with the non-farm payrolls. It doesn't trade right at 8:30, so it's not a news based in that sense. It's actually based on the reaction after the news. But you can read the strategy. It's based on the pound US dollar. And then it's the way that I trade it is based on the 15-minute charts. He talks about the 5 or 15-minute. I've only traded it on the 15-minute. I probably wouldn't recommend the 5-minute. Just you'd probably get swinged in and out of the markets real quick. So I've only traded the 15 minutes, and that's the only way that I plan on trading it. So then the rules will be a little different than his, but mostly the same. Next rule is, hey, you don't do anything that first 15-minute bar. So the 8:30 to 8:45 bar, you do nothing. The market just does what it does. So that bar is created from 8:30 to 8:45. More than likely it'll be a wide bar because it's non-farm payrolls. And then you wait for an inside bar, and I'll explain and show you an inside bar if you don't know what that is here in a minute. But you're looking for basically a bar that's inside, the highs and the low is inside the previous bar. And I'll show you some examples of that and some trades that I've placed with this in just a minute. And then once you have the inside bar, the high of the inside bar and the low of the inside bar are basically your potential trade triggers. And once the inside bar, if the next bar after you get an inside bar is closes higher than the inside bar high, then you have a long position. If it closes lower, then you have a short position. And then he has a 30 pip stop rule. And again, I trade this on Nadex, so I'll show you how to do that. And the maximum of 2 trades, I actually would only do 1. And then as far as target, it's a time-based target, meaning usually the market moves within that first 4 hours. And again, I'll explain how I do that here in a little bit as I show you some of my trades. He gives an example here. This is from February 2009. And again, this system, I think the article is from 2009. So it's an old article. So and again, I have not done any back testing, just the couple of trades that I'll show you here. But this is a 15-minute chart. This big red bar here is the jobs report release. The next bar here, you can see that the low is a little bit lower than here, so that's not an inside bar. The next bar is higher than the previous bar, so it's not an inside bar. And then finally, this rectangular one here is it's an inside bar, so the low is within the low of this one, and the high is obviously a lot lower than the high here. So it's an inside bar. So then what you're looking for is you're looking for the next bar to close above or below the highs or low here, and you can see it's obviously closes above the high here. So you would be going long at the close of this bar or the open of this bar, whichever. And you would have a 30-point stop, and that's what this horizontal line is here. And you can see it rallied significantly. I think it's 150 pips or so in this particular example that he has. So I'm going to show you And then he has some particular rules that you can, do a second trade if you want, and so forth. But I'm going to show you a couple of my trades and what I did with it here. So this is November 7th. This is the first time I traded this big bar here. Let me move this over a minute. Excuse me. There we go. This big bar here with the high wick up here is the 830 bar, so 830 to 845. The next bar, again, is not quite an inside bar. You can see it goes a little lower than the low here, so it's not an inside bar. The next one goes a little higher, and then finally this bar here, which is the 1015 bar. So the 1015 bar, or excuse me, 915 bar. 915 bar is, you can see that the low is higher than this low, and the high is lower than this high. So you can see it's inside of this bar. And so that is your inside bar. So at this point you're looking for, you're looking for a close. You want the next bar to close. You don't just trade based on it going above this one, but you want it to actually close. So as you can see, the next bar, so the 9:30 a.m. bar was closed above the high of this bar. Again, it's based on the high, not based on the close of this one. So this is so it closed the 9:30 bar. So this is at 9:45, closed above here. So you are going long or buying from here. So from the close or the open here, and you have a 30 pip stop. So the close here was 58.37 or 38. I actually ended up buying a contract on Nadex for 158, so I actually had about a 40 pip area. And then you can see that the market continued to rally and never came down to the 58 area. Now, what you can do here at Nadex, the way you could trade it at Nadex is, and the way that I traded it at Nadex is, the current market, for example, is, and this isn't going to be exact apples to apples because this isn't a jobs report, so you're not going to get the same pricing at Nadex. So, but a couple of different ways to trade it. Again, keep in mind 30 pip stop. The current market right now is 150.75. So if you think the market's going up, if you had a trigger on the jobs report that you think the market is going up, you could take one that's right at the money or right near the money. This one's about 5 pips out of the money, $47, and you could hold it. You would want to do the dailies, the 3 p.m. He talks about the move is in the first 4 hours or so, but you can always exit your position too if you need to get out early. But that would be the best option really as far as trading binary options at Nadex. The way that I would take it, so let's say we had a trade today based on this, what I might be interested in would be the 150.40. So this is about 35 pips in the money right now, 36 now. It's at $85. I wouldn't pay that much for it, but if this was priced again at say 75 or so, I might be interested in that particular trade. So let's say this one was at 75 bucks. I could buy it for $75, and it said it was 30 pips in the money. So let's say this is 150.70. Okay, so that would be about 30 pips. If the pound US dollar came down to 150.40, this particular contract would only be worth about 50 bucks. So if I was able to buy it for 75, but the market came down those 30 pips, it would only be worth about 50 bucks. I would exit at that position, so I'm risking roughly about $25 on the particular contract. Even though it's costing me 75, I wouldn't hold it till the end if the market came down to the 150.40 area. So I would use it as that type of stop. So that's the way I traded it. So in this particular case, again for November, what I did is I took a 150 158, and I was able to buy it for I think $76. And you can see that it was never in doubt. And I don't remember if I exited the position early or what, but as you can see, it was never in doubt. So that's the way I handle it. Is I take it far in the money. Again, if you want to take it right at the money, or if you want to take it far out of the money. In this particular case, I think it moved up about 30 pips or so. So if you take something that's 30 pips out of the money, in this particular case, the 151, which is about 20 pips out of the money right now, as I'm doing this video, you're paying $31 for it. So 200% return on investment if you held till the end and you got those 20 plus pips. So there's a lot of different ways you can trade it if you want. Again, I'm sharing with you the way that I trade it. And again, you can contact me on Skype, Yahoo Messenger during the trade. Obviously, I can't do a webinar for this because you don't know exactly when the trade will happen. It won't happen anytime before 9 o'clock. That'd be the earliest time that it can happen, because you need the first bar, then you need the inside bar, then it has to close above that bar. So actually, quickest that you could actually get is 9:15, I think. So let me show you the December one as well. Here is the December jobs report. It's actually a little crazy on this particular chart because you can't quite see it. But this is the 8:15 bar. It actually closed up here around 80, 156.80, and then the bar should be from here all the way to here. So it was a big bar here, but for some reason, if you look at the hourly chart, you can see that it's fixed. But for the 15-minute for MetaTrader, at least on this MetaTrader, it's a little screwy. So anyways, this is the 8:30 bar to 8:45, but it should be from like right up here. So you can see big large bar. The next bar, you do get an inside bar. So the 8:45 to 9 o'clock bar is your inside bar. So this was the inside bar from 8:45 to 9 o'clock. The next bar, as you can see, that's inside of the high, which was way up here. But even here, you can see it's inside. Then you look for a close below this inside bar or above it. In this case, it was below it. So you can see the close here is lower than the low here by about a pip or a couple of pips. So the close here is below this, the low here. So you have a trade, you would short it here at the close, and as you can see, the next 45 minutes the market tanked a good from 56.30 down to 55.80, so about 50 some odd pips, and then kind of stabilized and moved downward a little bit more after that. But a good 50 pips in the next hour or so. What I did is I sold the market at 156.60, right about it where this line is. Again, right around that $75, $76 range. And I sold it, which would have been about a 30 pip stop. Again, the entry would have been in the real forex market would have been 156.30. So my stop is 156.60. So if the market would have came back up through here, and actually was never in doubt, because again, the entry would have been here, so it touched maybe 40 or so. So it was never really in doubt, and then tanked. So it was a good easy win as well. $25 per contract. Again, you're risking basically 1-to-1 if you exit the trade early on a short or on a stop loss. So if the market would have came up to 156.60, I would have sold the contract or bought the contract back in this case, and then been out of the market, and I would have lost roughly $25-$30 for a particular contract. So the way that I do it, if you're right roughly 50% of the time, that's break even. If you bought it for 75 and were able to, your stop was able at $50. So that's roughly, you need to be right 50% of the time to break even. So I've only traded a couple of times. Both times were profitable, but as you can see, you could also do some far out of the money stuff. So if you want to do 20, 30, 40 pips out of the money and shoot for that, you could do that kind of thing as well. However you want to do it is completely up to you. I'm just sharing with you the way that I traded it. So then again, you can take a look at the rest of the. You can take a look at the rest of the website, the article, for any other additional things. But that's the way I trade it. You can Skype me, Yahoo Messenger me, Skype or Yahoo Messenger me. If you have any questions, I'll be trading these the way I just described. So feel free to do that. Now again, I won't be probably checking email all the time, so you'd want to contact me via Skype or Yahoo Messenger. So hopefully it was helpful. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.